Welcome to Auntie K's Tarot, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Auntie K's Tarot. There was a lot of wind today. I believe there were storms elsewhere. Here was a lot of wind, and that made for a lovely day to have a walk. Considering how hot it's been really lovely to just go out, walk, and enjoy that. And so I did that after work today. It's Thursday, probably not when you're seeing this, but when I recorded this. And so it is a day to be doing spells tied to Jupiter, luck, prosperity, all of that. I do spells based on the days of the week. Most of the week, I do other magical work based on the days of the week as well, such as aspects of my cleaning schedule, and I also have things that I do on a daily basis. So that was part of my day, getting all of that done. On my morning walk, I saw some wildflowers growing out of a fence, and so I picked them and added them to the offerings that I put out in the morning, and I feel Spirit enjoys all those special little touches, so I included that as well. My fish are doing fabulous. I've recorded an update. I will include that at the end. Hey, Frank. Miss Frankie is here. Hi. Yeah, I know. Well, you sit in my lap. And I went about my work day. The people fixing my phone battery finally called me back to help me through the step they gave me instructions for, but it wasn't working on my own without someone walking me through the steps. I was probably missing a part. I totally was. It's done now. All right. And sometime next week, my phone battery gets replaced. That will be great. I hope. I hope it makes my phone last longer. I hope it improves the sound some. It might not. That might be something else I have to fix. Fixing my phone it is important. I want to make it last as long as possible. I don't like where those minerals come from, and yet it's this thing we rely on in our lives in this world. My paycheck relies on it, which is how I pay rent. But I don't just want to buy more. I want to make it last as long as possible. So that is all going well. And the card that I put on my altar to keep my phone, functioning as if there wasn't a battery problem, is still on my altar while we wait for all that to go through. And I have not had a problem with my phone battery since I did that spell work. I'm not going to use that to skip looking after the battery on my phone, because the spirits who I asked for help from, one of them being Mercury, who absolutely works with me on a regular basis as a psychic, I want to take responsibility and look after my means of communicating and doing my work, and not just being like, hey, hold it together while I spend the money elsewhere. Although I definitely want to get a stand and another tank, but a stand first, important. And Saturday is some big garage sale day here in the town I live in. So I'm going to check out some of those garage sales and see if I can find any of the things that I need for fishes, because I'd kind of like to have another tank, and if I'm going to need another tank just to like grow out as we get to that last grow out month for the platy fish before they get to be given away to other new potential platy fish owners. All right, and in the world, I attended a webinar on Palestine, and that was important. And I've also been following that Carney has been talking to Indigenous leaders for the last 2 days. I want to put up some pictures that I took from the news programs I was watching on it. See, Carney was talking about how it's so important to listen to Indigenous leaders. And so in 2 days, he's supposed to listen to all these Indigenous representatives of the, hundreds of Indigenous nations. And that's the problem with this. This isn't consultation. Listening to us talk, making some speeches, giving more time for the press to ask you questions than each individual Indigenous nation whose land you want to further destroy for, your settler colonial energy projects. Ugh, it's so frustrating. Prepare for disruptions to your economy, settlers. Prepare for disruptions. Why is settler colonialism acceptable? And like it is, but it isn't. Like when you call settlers, they get really upset with you. They're all offended. Why? Because being a settler means you're evil. To be a settler is like bad. They inherently know it. It's why they don't like to be called settlers. So why is it okay to be a settler country? Like, you can be a settler as long as you just call yourself Canadian or American or Australian or Israeli. Just as long as you don't get called a settler, but you're settlers. And when are we going to like reconnect this problem and look at settler nations as abhorrent as a fascist country or an apartheid country? Like, to be an apartheid nation, you're the bad guys. To be a fascist nation, you're the bad guys. When are we going to accept that to be a settler nation means you're the bad guys? You're the bad guys. The bad guys. You are. Like, you shouldn't get to have a say on the world stage if you're a settler colony. Why is that okay? Why do you get to be the leaders of the world who determine what freedom and so-called democracy is when you're all leaders of settler colonialism? Like, we should be as horrified by that as being like, oh, you know what? Like, this world would be so much better if we let, like, the fascist and apartheid nations tell us all how to be free and democratic. Honestly, folks, we already had that discussion, didn't we? We did. So, expect disruptions coming to your lives in Canada as you guys push through with more settler colonialism. And you're going to tell me, oh, it's not me, it's the leaders, it's not the individuals. You guys are the idiots who insisted that having a say once every 5 years is apparently a democracy. The democracies that we had on this land were actual democracies. What you all call democracy, a vote every 4 or 5 years, it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. It's not democracy. It's a joke. It's pathetic. It's truly a pathetic version of democracy. I was watching Consciously the other day, and he debated this insanely irritating, racist, liberal guy. But, that democracy is no good. We don't believe in it. It's a lie. And the people who invented it, the Greeks and Romans, they invented it to also serve their slave-owning, oppressive, expansionist states. So, that's why you chose Greek Roman style democracy, because it's a fake joke. And you destroyed the actual democracies that were happening on this land. And other forms of governments better than democracy. So there's all of that going on in my brain as well. We need to fight for something better, and it's not democracy. It's something better. And we're just going to have to dream dangerously and figure out what that is. And white people are just going to have to shut up and trust the rest of us. Like, you don't get a say. No. Just no. Like, you know how after World War II, Germany was briefly punished for being the bad guys, and everyone's like, you guys aren't allowed to say how to run things anymore. Same, white people. Same. You don't get to say how things are run anymore for a while until you learn to behave like humans. Regular humans in the rest of the globe have this thing called empathy, which is valued over psychopathy, which is apparently the greatest valued personality trait of the Western world. Okay, these are my ramblings today, and cards for you all. No, I'm not feeling Next World Tarot-like. I'm feeling Star Wars Tarot-like. You know why? Because after watching the documentary on Palestine, I'm just feeling angry. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling very May and Osha. It's like time to take revenge kind of angry. I know it's not the greatest mood, so let's see what tarot has to say about that, shall we? Oh, 6 of coins. Oh, 3 of cups in reverse. 7 of cups. Oh, lack of choice. You think you don't have a choice about your life, the situation, all of that, but there are some choices you do, in fact, have. And you can choose who you choose to be friends with. All right. So this is the modal nodes from Star Wars. And they were originally playing at Jabba's palace, and then they were playing in the Mos Eisley cantina, and it took them a while to get off Tatooine. Here they're pictured celebrating getting off Tatooine, and they were honestly stuck here on Tatooine for a while because they were friends with, they kept a toxic friend in their friend group that was is it pronounced Dan or Dan? He was a toxic friend, and he got them trapped in this unfair situation where the payouts were never fair, and so everyone was unable to work their way out of this deal that kept them trapped on Tatooine in the Mos Eisley cantina. But you do have some choices. You maybe don't have a choice to change how things operate on Tatooine. But you do have the choice to say, I'm not going to keep oppressive friends. And instead of keeping oppressive friends, I'm going to keep radical friends and revolutionary friends. And in doing so, you change what some of your options are. And so maybe you can't ever make this balance, but if you choose the right friends and the right people often enough, you will create opportunities to maybe just end this instead. That's our hope. So that is the reading for today. I'm going to include the fish updates that I made after this. Enjoy your day, folks. Get outside, touch grass, talk to people in real life. Even if you don't know them and your friends are talking to you online, get out there wherever you live and talk to somebody real in person, even if you don't know them, saying hi, how are you doing? All of that. Do some magic. Bring some ritual into your life to bring some power to you over the imbalances and injustices in the world. And get out there and do some spell work. And remember, spell work should be about unbalancing these unbalanced power dynamics and turning them on their head. Take from the top and bring that energy down to the bottom. Use magic to fight against oppression. All right, see you later, folks. So my plants are creating more babies. Can you see like all this bright green growth? And they create new roots and then they drop off. And they're growing like mad. That's growing like mad. There's even more leaves coming off my Amazon sword. My fishies are growing like mad. And there's even, so this plant lost all its shoots down, all its leaves down here. I don't know what happened, but all these new shoots are growing up from the bottom, and I've got all kinds of new leaves growing and opening up here as well. So that is all pretty fantastic. I'm feeling pretty excited. amazed that my water parameters are good because there's so many babies in here. Like, there's so many babies. I should have the light off right now, but I wanted to show the plant shoots, and I was busy. I was watching a webinar on Palestine all night, and it was time to turn the lights off before I got anything done. And I always try and get the fish who are all in those roots, living it up in the roots. But yeah, I'm kind of amazed that I have a great water quality with this many babies. Also, people said like the pothos could like starve all the other plants of their nutrients, but whatever the pothos did to my water quality, because it did improve. Like, it was decent, and then it became excellent within like days of putting large pothos plants in there instead of putting in little shoots that I was going to hope would grow. I put in full-size plant, it's growing, and the water was just like boom, we're amazingly healthy. And then the plants were like explosion, we're all growing everywhere. And finally, we started keeping fish in April, and this tank's only been set up since like the middle of May, so like 2 months. And then Padme dropped these babies like when she pretty much shortly after she got in here. She was like, oh, look at this lovely home you created for me. Thank you. I'm going to have all these babies now. And, you know, I was just plugging away, trying to constantly learn and figure it out and make it better. And I was working so hard, and I felt like it was like always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Those big pothos made a world of difference. It really made a difference. I am contemplating getting a gourami and see if a gourami will help keep the fry population under control. And if not, then get another 20-gallon tank. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty good as a fish keeper at the moment. I'm like, hey, this shit's working out. It's functioning. It's doing its due. It's doing the things, and that's really cool. I need to clean the glass on the inside and the outside, but it's all going really cool, and I'm happy, folks. Just showing some very pretty guppies here. And then the cute little black fry. They're so hard to see. I'm not sure how many of them there is. Other fries are much easier to see. And this was just pictures, me getting photos. You know, mace windu looking really sweet. There's a bladder snail problem in the other tank. I got an assassin snail. These snails, however, are not a problem. They are beloved. And me trying to get pictures of fry. And you can just also see these plants like really growing, and fry growing, and it's crazy. They're all after an algae wafer bit right there. That's what's got all their attention. And after this, I think there's 2 more pictures of the little teeny tiny black fry. Yep, there they are with little yellow faces. Isn't that just adorable? Seeing those little eyes poke out at you.